Good afternoon, all of you. Welcome back to the YouTube channel, The Guide. Please subscribe, like, and share the YouTube channel, The Guide, the Knowledge Hub. This is Ramesh, Faculty of Biology. Okay, students, we are discussing the lesson Respiration. What is that lesson? What is the name of our lesson? Respiration. So, in respiration lesson, yesterday we discussed so many topics in that lesson. So, in this, here there is a starch is converted to glucose, means sugars. So, the glycolysis, you know already, yesterday you learned about glycolysis, glycolysis we learned yesterday. Glyco means sugar or glucose. So lysis means breakdown. So the glucose is converting into pyruvic acid. So this the chemical formula of pyruvic acid C6H4O3. C6H4O3. So the pyruvic acid is to the presence of oxygen converting into carbon dioxide and water. So the products are carbon dioxide and water, and absence of oxygen, this is converting into ethyl alcohol or ethanol, C2H5OH. So up to here we discussed yesterday. Okay, today I am going to explain about the importance of respiration. So dear students, formation of ATP and its utilization for different purposes. So in this, oxidation of glucose release energy and heat. Oxidation of glucose release energy and heat. You know already the energy is released in the form of heat. So the remaining amount of energy is storing as a form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So that is we discussed yesterday. So dear students, the main purpose of oxidizing glucose in the body is to produce energy required for carrying out various functions. So what is the main source of glucose? The main source of oxidizing glucose in the body to produce energy. The main source is to produce energy required for carrying out several types of functions and various types of functions. Okay, are you following, children? So at the same time, some of the energy produced during glucose oxidation is in the form of heat. We know already. So this is used to keep the body warm. This energy, so this energy oxidation of glucose, finally the energy is producing that energy is in the form of heat. This is used to keep the body warm. So rest of the energy and remaining rest of the energy is stored in a compound called that is ATP. What is that? ATP. So ATP, the full form of ATP. What is the full form of ATP? ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate. What is this? ATP. So the expands the ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So as the name indicates, ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Tri means 3. So ATP has 3 phosphates attached to a molecule of adenosine. So here ATP. Okay, so this is adenosine. Okay, so phosphate. So adenosine triphosphate. Here there are 3 phosphates. T means tri means 3. So there are 3 phosphates here. There are 3 phosphates are attached to the adenosine. There are 3 phosphates are attached to the compound that is adenosine. So as the name indicates ATP, okay, so ATP has three phosphates. ATP has three phosphates. So attached to a molecule adenosine. Okay, most of the energy is stored in the last form. This is phosphate, last phosphate bond. Most of the energy is stored in terminal phosphate. Most of the energy is stored in the terminal phosphate. Okay, now have you understood? So once look at the board of, is it clear? Is it clear? So ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Okay, in this there are three phosphates. These three phosphates are attached to the adenosine, the molecule adenosine. Okay, clear up to here? So next, whenever energy is required to carry out a reaction or a body function, such as muscles contraction, the terminal phosphate bond is hydrolyzed and the energy released is used to carry out the reactions or to perform the functions. So here in this ATP, one of the hydrogen molecule, this phosphate is hydrolyzed. So after hydrolyzed and the energy is released to use to carry out different functions. Okay, so when the terminal phosphate is hydrolyzed, ATP is converted to adenosine diphosphate. So when the terminal phosphate is hydrolyzed, so once wait. ATP. So three phosphates here. How many? Three phosphates. Okay. So three phosphates. So in this one phosphate bond, one phosphate bond is hydrolyzed. One phosphate bond is hydrolyzed. Then there are two phosphate ions. There are two phosphate ions. So now here how many phosphates are there? Are there two. So ADP. So D means di. What is di? Means two. There are two ATPs are present here. So next the ATP is converting into ADP, adenosine diphosphate. What is adenosine diphosphate. So adenosine diphosphate. Have you clear? Again I am repeating the point. Dear students, when the terminal bond of phosphate, when the terminal phosphate is hydrolyzed, the ATP is converting into ADP. So means adenosine diphosphate and inorganic phosphate. So the ATP is converting into ADP plus inorganic phosphate and energy. Okay, ATP is converting into ADP and inorganic compound. Inorganic compound plus energy. So from ATP is converted into ADP plus inorganic compound and energy. Are you understanding? So for this cell to survive, ATP should be continuously available. So for surviving of the animal, the animal cells, for surviving of the cell, the ATP should be always means continuously available. For this, ATP should be converted back again. So for us and animals, so we need energy, our cells need energy. Then the ATP is is converted already into ADP. So now ADP. Okay. So again this ADP is converted back to ATP by adding high energy phosphate. Okay. So actually in after oxidation of glucose, so we required energy. Our body cells we are utilizing energy. So here the ATP is converted into when the phosphate, when the terminal phosphate is hydrolyzed, then one phosphate molecule is separated from the ATP. Then there are two phosphate molecules, mixed bonds. So then the ATP is converted into ADP. Okay. So again our body cells need to survive, then they need energy. So then the ADP, the ADP is converted back to ATP by adding high phosphate. So for this, so the ADP is converted back to adding high energy phosphate again. So then ATP again, the ADP is converted back to back to ATP by adding up high energy phosphate. So here ADP to form ATP. Here the ADP is forming to ATP. Okay, it is called phosphorylation. The ADP is converting into, the ADP is forming into ATP is called phosphorylation. Okay, now the conversion of ADP to form ATP, the conversion of ADP to ATP is called simply phosphorylation. So this phosphorylation occurs only in the presence of oxygen. So and is therefore called oxidative phosphorylation. So again I am telling you, the ADP is to form ATP. The conversion of ADP into ATP is called phosphorylation. What is phosphorylation? The ADP is converting into ATP is called phosphorylation. Okay, next this process, the phosphorylation process occurs only in the presence of oxygen. So that's why we are calling oxidative phosphorylation. What is that? Oxidative phosphorylation. Have you clear? So actually lighting. Okay, look at the board. So the ADP converting into ATP, that is phosphorylation. This phosphorylation takes place. This phosphorylation occurs only in the presence of oxygen, that is called as oxidative phosphorylation. What is this? Oxidative phosphorylation. So for example, energy derived from the aerobic oxidation of glucose is used for the phosphorylation of ADP to ATP. So that is phosphorylation and oxidative phosphorylation. Is it clear? Oxidative phosphorylation and phosphorylation. So here ATP, the ATP is provides energy. ATP is providing energy to various reactions and functions in the organism. So how this ATP provides energy to the various organisms, I will tell you right now. Okay, all of you look at the board and watch it. Once look at the board, all of you. Okay, here So the ATP provides energy for various reactions and functions in the organism. Okay, here the ATP is providing energy for all these. So what is one by one? Okay, ATP is providing energy for synthesis of carbohydrates process. In that process, synthesis of carbohydrates, synthesis of proteins, synthesis of proteins, synthesis of lipids, synthesis of nucleic acid, and transport of ions. Okay, transport of ions, synthesis of nucleic acid, synthesis of lipids, synthesis of proteins, synthesis of carbohydrates. Next, conduction of nerve impulses and amoeboid movements, movement of cilia and flagellas. So muscle contraction. What is muscle contraction? And transport of nutrients. For all these, the ATP is providing energy. Okay, na? So here I wanted to remember one thing, that is what we have learned. So the points to remember, what points we are ready to remember. So the points to remember, so one by one I will tell you. So for survival and proliferation, the organism has to grow. For survival of proliferations, the organism has to grow, defend against adverse conditions. Okay, so adverse conditions in these infectious diseases, etc. So and to perform all these processes in to performing of all these activities, they need energy. Are you understood? So for surviving we need energy, not only for us, human beings, animals and some other organisms. Every organism is defend against the adverse conditions. So like infectious disease, so some of the etc. So they need energy to perform all these processes. Okay, na? Is it clear, children? So students, once look at the board and observe it carefully. Look at the board. Okay, clear? So next, plants. There are plants. The plants convert light energy. So actually the plants are performing photosynthetic activity. Photosynthesis. So the green color plants perform photosynthesis to the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. So they are utilizing carbon dioxide and water. Finally they are making their own food. So these plants convert light energy to the chemical energy. The light energy is converting into chemical energy, which will be used for the synthesis of several substances required for the growth and survival. Okay, clear? So molecules like glucose are oxidized to release energy. Okay, if the energy production is stopped, if the energy production, already explained you, if the energy production is stopped in any organism using specific poisons, it will lead to death of a cell or living organism. So here there is respiration and combustion. In the previous class I explained you. So both combustion and respiration require oxygen to release energy. The process of combustion, the process of respiration, they required energy. They required energy to release. They required oxygen. Both combustion and respiration required oxygen to release energy. In combustion process, sugar first of all the sugar charge and later it burns. So first it will be charred, next the sugar will be burnt to producing a flame which is not seen in respiration. Okay, in this combustion process, the energy is released as in the form of heat. Okay, so this type of process we are not seen in respiration. So first of all, now I wanted to tell you the differences between respiration and combustion. Differences between respiration and combustion. This is just I will write on the board. Okay, all of you look at the board. Okay, dear students, look at the board, all of you. Once observe it carefully. Once read it. Otherwise, it better write. Okay, note it, all of you. Otherwise, take screenshot. Okay, I think okay, listen. So these are the differences between respiration and combustion. Respiration and combustion. And I wrote 3 points on this board, and remaining 4 points are also there. So I will write those 4 points on the board. Okay, na? So first of all, we have to learn this about these 3 points. So in this respiration, so what are the differences between respiration and combustion? So respiration, the respiration occurs in living cells, means living beings, living organisms. So combustion, so it is not a cellular. So respiration takes place in the living cells, but it is not a cellular process. Okay, and next the respiration. What is meant by respiration? So oxidation of food materials, especially, look at the board. Oxidation of food materials, especially glucose, fatty acids, and proteins to carbon dioxide and water is called respiration. You know, you were known about this definition. And next, what is the definition of combustion? What is meant by combustion? So when sugar burns, carbon dioxide and water are produced. When sugar burns, carbon dioxide and water are produced. So, and energy is released as a heat. So this process is called combustion. What is meant by combustion? Again I am repeating. So when sugar burns, then carbon dioxide and water are produced. Okay, and energy is released as a heat. So this process is called as combustion. So in this respiration, oxidation of sugar molecules occurs at in the body temperature of the organism. So in this respiration, oxidation of sugar molecules takes place, means occurs in the body temperature of organism. Okay, in this heat is to be applied for the sugar molecule to burn. Here the heat is applied, heat is required here. Heat is to be applied for the sugar molecule to burn. Okay, next. So up to now we discussed about differences between respiration and combustion. So there are 3 points we discussed up to now. So remaining points, okay now? Get ready, students. So here the 4th point is the energy is released in several stages. In the respiration process, the energy is released in several stages. Number of stages are there. Okay now. So here the energy is released at once as a heat. So while we are burning, so the sugar is converting into char. After it burns, next the carbon dioxide and water is released. The energy also released as a heat in the process of combustion. So, but the respiration process, several stages takes place. Okay, and next, several intermediates are formed in this. Process of respiration. Here, no intermediates are formed. In the process of combustion. And next, the enzymes are required for oxidation. In the process of respiration, the enzymes are required for oxidation. Quite opposite. So enzymes are not required for combustion process. So this is another point. And next, respiration occurs in the presence of water. So the respiration process occurs in the presence of water. So in here, no need water. Combustion occurs in the absence of water. Okay, in the absence of water. So these are the differences between respiration and combustion. So these points are once all of you note down all of you. Better take screenshot. Okay, so this is about respiration and combustion. So and finally, I wanted to conclude right now. So we are discussing up to now we discussed the importance of respiration. So in respiration, several intermediates are produced, and combustion there are no such intermediates. That is the point of respiration and combustion. And next, glucose is converted into pyruvic acid. Glucose is converted into pyruvic acid. One of the point of remember, glucose is converted into very most important. Glucose is converted into pyruvic acid. Glucose chemical formula C6H12O6, and pyruvic acid chemical formula C3H4O3. C3H4O3. Pyruvic acid C3H4 already know O3. This is pyruvic acid. What is this? Pyruvic acid. Okay, clear? So this is about this is the chemical formula of pyruvic acid. So glucose is converted into pyruvic acid. So through a process called glycolysis. That process glycolysis. You know already glycolysis is the first stage of any type of respiration. So here, when the glucose is converted into pyruvic acid through the process of glycolysis, which is the first step in any type of respiration. So dear students, up to now we discussed the importance of respiration, the role of ATP, the differences between respiration and combustion. So all these are the about today our topic. Okay, children, okay, students. Okay, if you have any doubts, ask me in comment box.